it's Stephanie. Welcome to today's ChairZen with Steph. Today we have another gentle yoga practice on the mat. And this one's really centered around opening up our hips a little bit and inviting just a little bit more fluidity into the hip and pelvic girdle region of our body. So that being said, let's get started. Find your nice crisscross yoga sauce or sukhasana pose. Make sure you have a nice tall spine. Rest the hands gently on the knees here. On an inhale, both shoulder heads lift. Exhaling, releasing them down the spine. Good, ready? Lifting of the shoulder heads and releasing them. Up and down. One more. Head up and down. Now reverse, ready? Lifting both shoulder heads up and lifting them forward. Good. Up and around. Up and around. Keep going here. At your own pace. Nice steady breaths as we do this here. And pause, returning the body to stillness in our crisscross yoga sauce position. Good, everyone. And let's gently bring the left hand down on the mat on an inhale. Right hand reaches high to the sky, exhaling, bending at that left elbow, tilting towards the left. Finding a side stretch here for this right rib cage. Good, tight belly, inhaling. Right hand lifts, exhaling. Floating that hand down, inhaling. Left hand reaches, exhaling, now tilting to the right. Good, again. Left hand lifts, bring it down. Right hand lifts. Side bend to the left. Right hand lifts, last one. Right hand down. Left hand reaches skyward and side bend to the right. Lifting that left hand skyward. Floating it down. Good. Subtle change. Just look down at our feet here. Switch which leg is forward from our crisscross yoga sauce position. Resettle into the mat. Good. From here, we're going to do 3 forward folds here from Sukhasana. So reach the hands high, shine the palms forward, exhaling, rounding that spine, making a C shape, and letting the hands move towards the ground here. Just a gentle gaze on the earth. Now maybe the longer you hold this, you can find maybe you can slide the arms out more and bring the gaze a little bit closer down in space. So find the right stretch for you. But what we're going to probably feel here is a stretch through the low spine, the lumbar spine, maybe creeping into each hip socket as well. Keep breathing, a nice gentle face. Don't scrunch the muscles around the eyes or between the brow line. Good, everyone. Nice tight belly on your next inhale with control. Bring the body back up here in space. Nice tall spine. Good. Similar, but now we're just going to do a forward fold here from a different direction. So let's bring the arms up here. Twist the torso and the body a little bit towards the right. And then let each hand fall on each side of this right knee. But now we're going to re-round the spine, making a C shape, walking our arms more forward in space, and maybe even connecting our chest to this right knee a little bit. Good, gentle gaze down at the ground still. Just like we did when we did the seated forward fold from center. Maybe the longer you hold this pose, maybe you find a little bit more length. Still feeling a low spinal stretch, and now it's going to be moving down a little bit more towards that left hip socket in space. Keep breathing. Good, everyone. Nice tight belly with control. Float the hands forward. Good, back at center. Same thing, but now the other side. Slight twist of the torso towards the left. Let each hand fall on the outside of that left kneecap. And then stretch around the spine using the arms to slowly bring the body forward in space here. Maybe letting that chest rest on this left knee. Gentle gaze down. So still getting that low spine stretch, but now it's focused a little bit more on the right side, moving down to the right hip socket. Good. And again, maybe the longer you hold the pose, you can find a little bit more depth. But just listen to your body and do what suits you in this moment. Good, tight, tight belly with control. Bring the spine back up, swinging the arms forward. Good, relaxing the hands back down in space. Nice. From here, we're going to meet in tabletop position on our hands and knees. So we gently rest the hands on the mat and gently rest the knees on the mat. Let's check ourselves for alignment here. So in our tabletop, we want to make sure that our shoulders are lined up over our wrist, nice and widespread fingers, almost cupping the hands like you're cupping a basketball. Make sure you don't dump into the wrist too much. And just take a look-see and make sure that our hips are lined up over our knees. Good. From here, a little quick series of cat-cow. So on an exhale, letting the head drop, tailbone drop, rounding the spine into that C shape. And on an inhale, we reverse that motion, heavy belly, gazing forward, tailbone lifts. Good. Exhaling, re-rounding into cat spine, long arms, head drops, tailbone drops. Inhale, heavy belly, extension of arms, gazing forward, tailbone lifts. If your neck ever is sticky here though, you always have the option just to keep the gaze on the mat. Good. Exhaling, rounding into cat one more time. Inhaling, moving into cow, and resetting our body into our tabletop position, hands and knees. Good. Let's really brace through the core. Taking our awareness into our abdomen, zipping our belly button towards our spine, nice abdominal control. And on an inhale, what we're going to do is keep the right knee bent. We're just going to open that right knee up in space. Dog in the fire hydrant. Exhaling, right knee down. Good. Inhaling. Right knee lifts. Doing our business. Dog in the fire hydrant. Exhaling, bringing that right knee down. And again, 3 more times. At your own pace. Linking breath to movement here. Good. Once you finish your last one here, bring that right knee down and really settle back into a tabletop position. Nice tight belly with control. Now the left knee is going to open up in space, dog in the fire hydrant. Exhaling, left knee down. Good, keep going. Ready? Inhaling, left knee lifts. Exhaling down. Good, a few more. Open and closing that left hip. Open and closing. Open and closing. Perfect. So let's move into a wide knees child's pose. Give ourselves a little break here for a second. Bringing the knees to the wide edges of the mat, angling the big toes toward each other, and then with control, shifting the hips back in space as we slowly let the arms and hands slide forward on the mat. Good. And let's see if we can rest our forehead here on the mat. Finding a little bit of stillness from our wide knee child's pose position. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, that's okay. It can always be elevated a little bit off the mat, or if you need, maybe roll yourself a little blanket and have a little platform on which to let the forehead rest. Good. Keep breathing, just giving our body a little bit of time. We have nice wide open hips here, a nice long spinal column. Good. We're going to do a side steam stretch here from our child's pose. So when you're ready, let's look at the hands. We're going to slowly walk our hands, handprint by handprint, over towards the right. Find a pausing point. Then bring the left hand, place it on top of the right hand, and then breathe, bow down in space, bringing the forehead down on the mat. Keep breathing. Giving our left rib cage here a little bit of time to open. Hips still nice and open. Looking at our hands with control, walking them back towards the center of the mat. Beautiful, everyone. From here, we're going to walk the hands handprint by handprint over to the left. Find your pausing point, then bring the right hand, place it on top of the left hand, and rebound forward. Bringing that forehead down on the mat. Getting a side stretch now through our right rib cage. Couple more breaths. Good, tight belly. Gazing at the hands, high body. Bring the hands back to center and rebounding into our standard wide knees child's pose. Beautiful, everyone. Let's slide the hands down the mat, lining up our hands underneath our shoulders. And extension along through the arms here. Good, everyone. From here, let's move back into tabletop. And we're going to prep for pigeon pose on each side. Good. Nice tight belly here. What we're going to do is going to take a little bit of core control. And then after that, we're going to settle into pigeon pose, which is a very powerful pose. You don't have to go as deep as maybe some people do. As we go into the pose, you got to find the right depth of pigeon that feels appropriate for your body. But what we're going to do when we do get into pigeon is have a really big stretch here for our glute muscles, hips, but really targeting deep in the glutes and the piriformis here. Good, so nice tight belly. So what we're going to do is move into a high plank position like we're about to do a push-up. So extension through the right leg, curling those toes on the mat, and then with control, extension through the left leg, curling the left toes on the mat. Nice, strong pose from high plank. Then what we're going to do is start to bend the right knee, bringing that right knee forward in space, and letting that right shin and foot rest on the ground. Then from here, we're going to slide the left leg long, untucking the toes of that left foot, sitting nice and tall, seeing how we feel here from this seated pigeon. The hands can be down in space, sort of a prop. Good. Keep breathing. Good. And if you want to bow into your pigeon pose a little bit, maybe we walk the hands forward a little bit more in space. If you have the depth, maybe we can bend at the elbows and come to forearms on the mat and settle in this way. With just a gentle gaze either at the mat or at your fists. Good. See, keep breathing here. See how this right glute and right piriformis muscle feels right here inside our body. For most people, this is a very big stretch. If you're still like, I don't feel enough, well, we have an option. Maybe you put hand on hand and start to rest the forehead down into our hands. Keep breathing. Good, everyone. With control, nice tight belly. Start to extend through our arms again. Plant the hands on the mat. And then in one nice, powerful movement here, we're going to slowly tuck the toes here of the left foot and then re-extend that right leg out into a high plank position. Good, now we'll take pigeon on the other side. So start to bring that left knee up in space. Gently let that left shin move on the ground. Touch the right knee down. Slowly untuck the right toes. And finding our pigeon here on this left side. Seeing how that left glute feels. How that left hip feels. Maybe it's tighter than your right side, or maybe this is your happier side. It's okay, and it's actually very good to notice the differences between the left and right side of the body. Good. And let's come down to our forearms here from our pigeon. Gentle gaze down towards our fist or towards the mat, letting our body settle into this pose a little bit more. Keep breathing. Good, and from here, if you'd like to fold hand on hand and slowly let the forehead rest on your hands, that's optional. You could stay in your forward position in pigeon, whatever feels better for you. Good, everyone, and with control, we extend through the arms. Nice strong arms, nice long arms on the mat. Let's curl the toes of the right foot back on the mat, extension through that left leg with control. Re-extension through left and right legs here into high plank. Good, and we're going to let the knees gently rest on the mat, keeping the toes tucked. We're going to move into a nice down puppy. So for down puppy, we're going to shift the hips toward the heels, extend arms long on the mat, and letting the forehead rest on the mat. Nice long spine, nice long arms, toes tucked in the mat. Down puppy is very similar to down dog. It's just a little bit of a smaller version of this pose. It's still getting a lot of the same benefits of a down dog, just into a little bit more of a manageable pose here. Good. So now we're going to slide the hands down the mat, lining the hands up underneath our shoulders, and with control, let's roll the spine up in space, nice and slow, and vertebra until you're in a kneeling position on the mat. Nice tall spine. We can untuck the toes now. Beautiful. And our final pose today is going to be from a constructive rest position. So no rush at all. But with control, guide your bottom to the center of the mat. Bend the knees, let the feet rest gently on the mat. Use the hands to gently bring the spinal column down on the mat. Nice gentle motion so we're not flopping our spine down on the ground. Good. So once we're here, we're going to move into a knock-kneed version of our constructive rest. The knock-kneed constructive rest usually allows for a resetting of our lumbar spine, the low spine. So let's stamp our feet to the wide edges of the mat and simply let the knees knock together and rest on each other. Good. From here, we have two options for hands, whichever feel good for you. For a more inward and grounding experience, you're welcome to let the elbows be bent and to rest the hands on a low belly. Or if you want a more open receiving experience, maybe you extend the arms down by your sides at a downward diagonal, palms facing up. Either way, that's your choice, yogi's choice. Let the spine be heavy on the mat here, from the crown of the head, going all the way down our spinal column into the base of our spine, tailbone. Let the eyes be gently closed. Start to focus here on your breath. How the breath gently moves the body. On the inhale, you can feel your belly expand and fill with air. And as you exhale, you can feel the belly gently sink and return to stillness. Breathing in and breathing out. If you would like, you can bring hand to hand and gently rest the thumbs between our brow line and our third eye. The inner light that resides within me bows to and recognizes the inner light that resides within you. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste, yogis. This is Stephanie with ChairZen with Steph. Feel free to like and subscribe and get ready for more wonderful yoga videos here soon in the future.